Hello everyone, and welcome to our channel. Today, we have a wonderful story for you that teaches us about the dangers of making decisions when we re-angry and the incredible power of calm, clear thinking when we face challenges. As we go through the story together, we'll also pick up some new words and see how to use them in sentences. This is a great way to practice your English in a fun and relaxed setting, so stick around until the very end. Once upon a time, in a distant kingdom, lived a young king named David. He had just inherited the throne at 25 after his father passed away. Growing up, David was guided by a wise teacher, Edward, who taught him not just about the world, but about the values of kindness, patience, and wisdom. After the old king's death, Edward became David's most trusted advisor, helping him navigate the challenges of ruling. Everything was running smoothly until one year. An unexpected food crisis struck the kingdom. It was due to a mistake Edward had made in a weather forecast. In a moment of frustration and anger, David rashly ordered his mentor to leave the kingdom and never return. With a heavy heart, Edward quietly obeyed, leaving behind the palace and the life he knew to start anew. Edward settled in a faraway village, choosing the humble life of a farmer. Even though he still had wealth, he preferred a simple existence, connecting with the villagers and sharing in their daily struggles. He quickly earned their respect, and people came to him for advice on everything from farming problems to resolving disputes. Meanwhile, back in the kingdom, King David was struggling. He deeply missed Edward's wise counsel, especially when he had to make complex decisions all on his own. Slowly, David began to realize that banishing Edward was a terrible mistake, a decision born from anger, not thoughtfulness. Regret gnawed him, and he sent soldiers to find Edward and bring him back. Days turned into weeks, but there was no sign of his old teacher. The kingdom was vast, and nobody seemed to know where Edward had gone. Then, David had an idea. Inspired by the clever methods Edward himself had once taught him, he decided to test if he could find Edward's wisdom somewhere in his kingdom. He ordered his soldiers to send a letter and a clay jar to the head of every village. The letter instructed each village leader to return the jar filled with wisdom within a month. If they failed, they would have to fill it with precious jewels instead. The jar and the letter soon reached the village where Edward lived. The village leader, puzzled by the strange request, immediately went to Edward for advice. Wisdom can't be put into a jar, Edward thought, knowing the village didn't have enough jewels to fill it either. The villagers grew fearful, worrying they might be punished for failing the king's task. They pleaded with Edward, "Please, help us. You're the only one who can find a solution." Edward calmly reassured them. "Hand me the jar. I'll make sure it's filled with wisdom by the end of the month." The village leader asked, "What do you plan to do?" Edward simply smiled and replied, "I'm not sure yet. But, week time, I'm certain a solution will come." Trusting his wisdom, the villagers left the jar with him, hopeful. In the quiet of his farm, Edward pondered the problem. Suddenly, he noticed a small pumpkin vine growing nearby. An idea sparked in his mind. Gently, he placed a tiny, young pumpkin inside the jar without detaching it from the vine. Day by day, he watered it, and over time, the pumpkin grew larger, completely filling the jar so it couldn't be removed. Finally, Edward cut the vine, leaving the fully grown pumpkin inside the jar. He sent it back to the kingdom, just as the king had asked. When King David received the jar, he was amazed to see it filled with a giant pumpkin. A smile spread across his face. As he said, "Growing a pumpkin this large inside a jar is the work of a truly wise mind." He instantly realized this clever solution could only have come from Edward. Without a moment's hesitation, David prepared to set out himself, determined to find his mentor, apologize, and bring him back to the kingdom. This story teaches us two important lessons. First, don't make decisions in the heat of anger. Strong emotions can cloud your judgment and lead to regrets. And second, take a moment to calm yourself before tackling a problem. A peaceful mind fosters clear thinking, helping you find the best path forward. Remember, wisdom often comes from patience and understanding. Today, we learned new words and sentences through this story. Remember, learning English can be fun when you practice regularly. So keep listening, keep learning, and keep growing. Make sure to like, comment, and share how this story helped you improve your English. Thank you for watching, and I'll see you in the next story.